A 14-year-old girl was asleep in her room on a school night when she apparently woke and remembered that she had homework due the next day that she didn't even start. She flicked her light on and began to work on it. The clock read exactly 1:15 a.m. Over the sound of pencil lead pushing onto the paper, there were faint noises coming from inside the walls. She stopped writing, and the sounds became more clear. It was as if something was being pushed from inside the walls. There was a storage space right next to her bed, with a big square door that comes off the wall to enter. The girl started screaming for her mom, and the noises suddenly became exaggerated, as if something were running in there. The door to the wall popped off, and a figure emerged. The girl's mother and father could hear the screams even through 3 closed doors. When the girl's father came to the room, he found a tall and overweight white man covering the girl's mouth with his hand. The fight was over in a matter of seconds, with a few good punches to the man's gut. 2 pairs of the girl's underwear were found in the man's pocket before he was arrested.
In this disturbing video, you see a video recording of a family possessed by skinwalkers in Ohio. This video gives me the shivers as its origin is unknown to anybody and has an eerie vibe that gives me a shakes. At the start of the video, the woman looks okay, but her arms are way too long and she looks like she has become human from being a skinwalker. This video is very disturbing and later shows more skinwalkers in the house. Their arms and body are way too long to be human and are in fact possessed by skinwalkers in the dead of night. In Ohio, anything can happen. So it makes sense that this family has been possessed by skinwalkers there, as literally anything can happen in Ohio streets. Wow. I really am scared from these creepy skinwalker people. I have the shivers for real right now. If you see a skinwalker run away and try escape, as they are dangerous and we don't know what they are capable of. Your best bet is to find safety before they try to attack you and put you in danger.
My mother crushed my head with a shelf, and now I'm a ghost. If you see me in your dreams, you can ask me 2 questions. But if you ask more than that, I'll haunt you forever. I am Dear David. I have been haunting a man who asked too many questions. He could see me. I visited him in his dream. He asked me how I died. I told him it was an accident in a store. He then asked me what happened in the store. I said a shelf was pushed on my head. Then he asked me who pushed the shelf. I didn't answer. He asked too many questions. Now I am in his apartment. I watch him as he sleeps. I sit in his chair while he dreams of me. Sometimes I stand on his bed, but he doesn't wake up. He takes pictures of me sometimes, but nobody believes him. He thought he could get away from me if he moved, but I followed him. If you want to see me tonight, just say my name, Dear David, before you go to sleep. You can ask me 2 questions, but if you ask more than that, be ready to see a lot more of me because...
It stares back. In a tiny town on the outskirts of Wagoner County, Oklahoma, Reddit user LiveItExcuse1640 and a friend are cruising down a deserted road in the middle of the night, in the middle of nowhere. They approach a long abandoned house that Reddit user LiveItExcuse1640 says has always seemed a bit creepy and has been sitting deserted for many years for unknown reasons. On a whim, he takes out a battery-operated spotlight and decides to shine it right into the windows of the abandoned house. The guys spot something downright chilling.
There it is. Busted up. Holy what? Yo, go.
On camera, the friends catch a pale, creepy face that seems to appear from nowhere, peeking back at them from the darkness inside the house. Even when hit by the bright spotlight, the white face appears to have no recognizable features. When they realize what they are looking at, the guys hit the gas and speed away from the abandoned house. Reddit user LividExcuse1640 says that he's visited the house before, and it appears that whoever used to live there left in a hurry. So what do you think this is? Is it something paranormal? Is it just a strange trick of the light? Or is there something in there? Let me know down below.
So this next story was sent in by Luis on TikTok, so shout out Luis. Hi there, my name is Luis and I have a story that happened to me when I was about 3 or 4. This is something I tell very few people about since I don't know exactly what I experienced. I was living in Mexico at the time with my sister and she had a house outside the city of Mexico. My mom was working as a nurse during this time, so I remember she would come home pretty late. During this time, I wouldn't say I had any fears. Yet. I shared a bedroom with my great-grandmother and my bed was next to a big window. This window was next to a big barranca, and so on one particular night, I remember staying up late looking outside the window and kind of just enjoying the night sky view. I think I was just waiting for my mom to get home. We didn't have a clock, so I guess it was maybe around 12 a.m. or so, because I know everyone was sleeping. I don't remember exactly how long I was staring outside the window, when out of nowhere a face appeared on the right corner of the window and moved towards the left and disappeared. That scared me so much that I began to cry. The way I can describe it is by saying it wasn't human-like. It was 2D, and it had this weird green, glowing circles where its eyes would be. It didn't have pupils. It was like it was see-through. There was no body either. The creepiest thing is that my mom told me years later that in the morning, after I had seen whatever it was that I saw, she said the chickens we had were all dead.
I lived in a small college town, and my apartment complex was walking distance from the bar/downtown area. One weekday night, I stepped out on our front porch to smoke a cigarette or two. I was up late studying. I brought my textbook with me and laid down on the stairs while I smoked. A girl who I had never met before, but who lived one apartment over on the ground floor, came home from downtown. She was by herself, and you could tell from her walk she had been drinking. She got in her apartment and barely got the door closed before some guy, who came out of nowhere, knocked on her door. She opened, and I noticed he introduced himself, which was weird because it was like 2:30 in the morning. Who comes to a random girl's apartment at that time? So I decided to stay outside and pay attention. They ended up talking for over 10 minutes. She later acknowledged how weird the situation was, but did not know how to end the conversation. He would do the creepiest things, like he reached up and stroked her hair at least 3 times, and he would try to slowly inch his way closer to her in the door. I made a point of being loud with my textbook so he would know I was there, and he disappeared as eerily as he came. We called the cops, and days later they had the girl and I sit with a sketch artist. As soon as the sketch was made public, floods of calls came in. The guy turned out to be a serial rapist who followed lone girls home from bars and pretended to be a cab offering them a ride. This girl just got lucky because she lived so close to the bars, he didn't get a chance to pull the cab routine.
Have you heard the story of the singing nun? Her name is Sister Luke Gabrielle, and she became worldwide famous in 1963 when she sung her song Dominique. Everyone around the world was singing this. They made a movie about her, and her song won a Grammy. But she had taken a vow of poverty, which means all of that money rolling in was going straight to charity. And every bit of money she did have, she used to open a school for handicapped children. But here's where things get bad. 15 years after she blew up, the Belgium government came to her. They said, "You owe us $110,000 because you never paid taxes." To which her response was, "I have no money. Everything has gone into my school." But the authorities didn't back down. And now she is facing a lifetime in prison. So she went home and sat down on her bed. She grabbed a bottle of pills and opened the cap. Inside were a type of sleep. She poured every single one into her mouth. And then she grabbed a piece of paper. She wrote, "We are going together to meet God our Father. He alone can save us from this financial disaster." Her breathing slowed and her vision became blurry. And as everything became dark, she fell asleep, never to wake up again.
3 more famous celebrities that are now ghosts. Charles Darwin. It's a rather curious twist, but here's the scoop. Charles Darwin, the man who transformed our understanding of life and evolution, is now a ghost himself. The irony, right? The dude who delved into the concept of natural selection and survival of the fittest has apparently defied the rules of mortality. People say he's been spotted as a spectral figure in his former haunts, his ghostly presence roaming the places he once explored. It's like the ultimate paradox. The guy who unraveled the secrets of life and adaptation is now an enigma in the afterlife. But hey, I guess that's life, or afterlife, for you, full of surprises and ironies. Thomas Edison. Believe it or not, the man who lit up the world with his inventions, Thomas Edison, is now said to be a ghostly presence. It's an electrifying twist of fate, right? The mind behind the light bulb, phonograph, and countless other innovations has become a spectral figure. Folks have reported sightings of Edison's ghostly form in and around his laboratories, as if he's still tinkering with his inventions from the other side. The inventor who illuminated the world now casts a different kind of light, a mystifying one in the realm of the unexplained. It's a twist in the history of science, where the boundaries between life and the afterlife seem a bit more blurred in Edison's case. Mark Twain. The celebrated wordsmith, Mark Twain, seems to have penned an unconventional chapter in his own story. There are whispers, that Twain's spirit is still among us, wandering through the riverbanks and old towns he once immortalized in his tales. The irony here is that the man who gave voice to the spirited Tom Sawyer and the irreverent Huckleberry Finn is now a mischievous ghost himself, weaving his own brand of humor and wisdom in the afterlife. Some claim to have heard his unmistakable drawl in the creaky old houses he frequented, as if his words lingered long after his time on this earthly plane. So, you see, Twain's legacy lives on not just through his books, but through the specter he may have become, a literary ghost forever exploring the human experience with a timeless twinkle in his eye. Follow and share for more.
Scary people, places, and things. Now this next video was sent in to me privately by a Nuke's Top 5 viewer, but the source is unknown. All I know about the video is that a couple is out hiking through the Romanian woods when they spot something terrifying in the distance. One of the hikers pulls out a phone and starts to record.
Vamos a ver, pasa de parte. Vou vir com a semana que eu Muito.
I-am dat drumul? I-am dat
Nu
drumul?
mă să știu cu telefonul ăsta așa în pula mea, că te vede că o filmezi.
Bă, pula morții, i-am dat drumul?
Să uită, handicapatul vrea.
In the video, the 2 anonymous Romanian hikers wonder aloud whether, quote, they released it. I can only assume that they're referring to the strange pale figure in the video that looks like something right out of a nightmare. But I'm honestly not sure just what this is. Could it be something paranormal, a creature, or just a very bizarre looking person clad all in white? I leave it up to you to decide. One bizarre day in Voronezh, Russia, a grandfather and his grandchild are enjoying a day out walking in the fresh air. They decide to stroll down one particular city sidewalk, and it turns out to be one of the worst decisions of their lives. Now, in accordance with YouTube guidelines, let me point out beforehand that absolutely no one was hurt in this video, but it was very close. Grandfather and his grandson escape an incredibly tragic fate by only a split second, as a large chunk of concrete comes hurtling down from a building above. The two are unharmed, and so is the woman passing by. But what really makes this footage so terrifying is the fact that this was an intentional act. Turns out, a group of inebriated Russian teenagers found their way onto the roof of a tall apartment building. They then deliberately threw this large block of concrete off the roof with the intention to hurt someone terribly. Later in the footage, these same teens can be seen admiring the shattered pieces of concrete. Despite the video evidence, these teenagers were never caught. This footage just goes to show that sometimes people are much scarier than anything paranormal. Frank from the YouTube channel Franco TV goes on a very creepy exploration through an abandoned Grand Hotel in Montgomery, Alabama. Frank plans to perform a ghost hunt, but little does he know that the large building he is about to explore is now home to something much scarier than ghosts and apparitions. It turns out that a group of aggressive and dangerous homeless squatters have taken over the abandoned building. As Frank starts his ghost hunt, things soon take a very frightening turn.
I gotta be careful. I totally just heard somebody. Holy crap. That's a homeless guy. I'm gonna get out of here for a second. Go, 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 go. Holy shit.
Wherever Frank goes, he keeps running into potentially dangerous squatters and just barely avoids confrontation. Even though he's somewhat aware of the danger, Frank still continues to explore. But he has no idea just how close the angry squatters are watching him.
I'm literally looking for other locations here that I haven't recorded just yet, but because there's so many people here, I have to be extremely careful and cautious at what I do. Because the last thing I need to do is get robbed, mugged, or anything. But this place is huge. It's like 4 buildings in one. I'm already getting sounds like people.
Frank is distracted by unexplained sounds and is talking to his camera when he passes one of the hotel room windows. To his viewers' horror, a hooded man can be seen standing right at the window, just staring at Frank as he goes by. At the time, Frank is completely unaware of the danger he's in, so he just keeps on filming and exploring, with no idea of what he just encountered right next to him. Now obviously this is not one of Franco TV's usual paranormal videos. In fact, if anything, it might be even scarier. Watch this full crazy exploration over on the YouTube channel Franco TV.